Remember the good old days? Yeah, me neither. But I do vaguely recall a time when you could strike up a conversation with a stranger without fear of being drawn into a heated debate about, well, everything. Back in the dusty scrolls of the 1990s, I spent my formative years in Mexico. It was a time when people seemed more connected, more willing to lend a hand or share a laugh, regardless of their political stripes. Fast forward to today, and the social landscape feels decidedly different. Now residing in Canada, I find myself navigating a world of cautious conversations and palpable social isolation. Gone are the days of carefree interactions. This shift, this palpable sense of division, didn't happen overnight. It's been a slow creep, a gradual erosion of our collective ability to disagree without being disagreeable. If we want to mend this fractured world, we need to understand the forces that brought us to this point. Here's a fun fact that's not actually fun at all. Political and ideological violence has surged by a staggering 300% in the last decade. That's not a typo. 300%. It seems we've graduated from heated debates on Twitter to actual, violence. And that's not just some random statistic. That's people getting hurt, lives being torn apart, all because we've forgotten how to disagree civilly. Remember those idyllic days of yore when the pinnacle of political discourse involved chucking a shoe at the TV? Well, those days are gone, replaced by a chilling reality where extremism thrives, fueled by a toxic cocktail of social media algorithms, political polarization, and a general sense of disillusionment. It's a symptom of a deeper societal sickness, a sign that our ability to engage in constructive dialogue has broken down. And if we don't address this, if we don't find a way to bridge the chasm of our differences, then we're all in for a very bumpy ride. Let's talk about immigration, shall we? A topic so fraught with tension it could make a Thanksgiving dinner with your conspiracy theorist uncle seem like a relaxing day at the beach. Now, I'm not here to debate the merits of open borders or strict immigration policies. That's a whole other can of worms we just don't have time for. But what I will say is this. The way we talk about immigration, the way we frame the issue, has a profound impact on our societal fabric. When we demonize entire groups of people based on their origin or immigration status, we create a breeding ground for fear, resentment, and ultimately division. And it's not just immigration. Social movements, while often born out of noble intentions, can also contribute to this sense of us versus them. Take, for example, the complexities of modern feminism. While I wholeheartedly support gender equality, I also recognize that certain aspects of the movement have, intentionally or not, alienated some men, creating a sense of resentment and division. The point is, these complex issues deserve nuanced and compassionate conversations. We need to find a way to acknowledge our differences while remembering our shared humanity. Section 4. When words turn to terror, recent manifestations of extremist violence. Remember when I said political violence was on the rise? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's time to talk about some real-world examples. In December 2024, a Saudi Arabian man plowed through a Christmas market in Magdeburg, Germany, leaving 6 people dead and nearly 300 injured. Then, in January 2025, an Afghan asylum seeker attacked a preschool in Aschaffenburg, Germany, killing 2 children and injuring 3 others. These attacks, along with countless others, are stark reminders that extremism is not some abstract concept confined to the darkest corners of the internet. It's a real and present danger, and it's claiming innocent lives with alarming regularity. And lest you think this is just a European problem, let's not forget the recent surge in right-wing extremism right here in the good old US of A. From the halls of Congress to the streets of our cities, the language of hate is becoming increasingly normalized, fueling a climate of fear and intolerance. We can't ignore this any longer. We need to acknowledge the problem, understand its root causes, and take concrete steps to address it. Section 5. Building bridges: practical steps towards a more united future. Okay, so we've established that the world's a bit of a mess right now. Division is rampant, extremism is on the rise, and we've all forgotten how to have a civil conversation. But don't despair, it's not all doom and gloom. The good news is there's actually something we can do about it. No, seriously, there is. It's not going to be easy, and it's definitely not going to happen overnight, but with a little effort and a lot of awkward conversations, we can start to bridge the divides that separate us. We need to rediscover the lost art of open and honest dialogue. And no, I'm not talking about screaming matches on Twitter or trading insults with strangers on Facebook. I'm talking about real, face-to-face conversations where we actually listen to each other's perspectives, even and especially when we disagree. Section 6. Reframing the narrative. Embracing commonality in a divided world. We need to stop defining ourselves by what divides us and start focusing on what unites us. Instead of fixating on our differences, let's remember our shared humanity. Let's celebrate our common goals and values. Let's work together to create a world where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. It's time to ditch the US versus them mentality and embrace the radical notion that we're all in this together. Because here's the thing, the challenges we face today, climate change, economic inequality, political polarization, these are not issues that can be solved by one group alone. These are global issues that demand global solutions. And the only way we're going to find those solutions is by working together, by embracing our shared humanity, and by remembering that we're all just passengers on this giant spinning ball of rock hurtling through space. So let's cut through the noise, ditch the labels, and start listening to each other.